Coleman Report Live, April 8th edition. Welcome, Lance. We're going to get right into the polls.
It's exciting to be here.
So the first question, how many PPP loans are your institution has been successful to submit through E-Tran? And this is not funded, this is just successfully submitting them.
Guys, in our case, our bank has developed an incredible electronic system for running these PPP loans. We are way over 50.
That actually surprises me.
Hey, I'm pretty close to 50 myself.
Yeah, but I mean, this is great news. And you were just saying that you've been doing a lot of loans, and it seems like it's working finally.
Yeah, and I hear stories of banks that, or hear people saying these loans are not getting funded. Our system just went up live yesterday at about 8 a.m. We're funding loans today. So it's working incredibly well. I'm excited about it. I did my first church loan. It was I wanted to get it. It was exciting because I've never gotten to do a loan for a church, and I completed my first PPP loan for a church. I was able to go in our system, which again, our IT people have hit a home run with what they developed for us to use at our institution. My first church loan, I got it approved by SBA yesterday. We had documents out for e-signature yesterday afternoon, and I noticed that it's being funded today. So very exciting news.
Well, yesterday, I don't know if everybody happened to get on the 7A conference call. I know it kind of capped out at maybe 2,000 people or so. It was a very large crowd. They did very quickly mention how their loan portfolio is doing, and at the time, which was around 2:00 p.m., they were saying that they had received 265,000 PPP loans, and that was about $78 billion worth. And I'm sure it's much higher now. That was 2:00 p.m. Eastern, so the West Coast was still probably doing a lot of loans at the time, and we're just seeing the numbers increase rapidly each day.
Well, and you know, there was a huge push, and we started seeing some numbers initially. I think we're going to settle into good, steady growth until we finish out the $349 billion. You had your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo, that both are kind of capped out now. You're going to see good, steady growth in production in the PPP loans. Most people have gotten on board and figured out how to do it. You know, it's like my institution, you know, our leadership, sorry guys, our leadership and our IT people didn't want to rush it out. They wanted to get the system ironed out first. By doing that, I think I think the banks that have taken the time to figure the process out are going to do incredibly well processing PPP loans. I think the biggest challenge, Katie, is still E-Tran, but I want to report E-Tran has been working incredibly well today. I've processed 10 loans this morning in E-Tran and did not get kicked out a single time.
That's a big improvement. What was it yesterday? You were saying 15, 16 times?
First loan, I got kicked out of E-Tran 15 times. My first loan actually took, Katie, about an hour and 20 minutes to get a funding number. Today, I had one loan. Of course, we have a very sophisticated system set up right now. I had one loan start to finish after I'd reviewed the documentation, start to finish an E-Tran in 5 minutes and had a funding number. Pretty amazing.
And that's just going to help small businesses too, because that money needs to be out there now.
Absolutely.
But of course, there's the concern of whether we're going to be running out of money in this program. And they just recently, I think yesterday, introduced this idea of an interim emergency bill to expand the current PPP program by $250 billion, with 125 specifically for community lenders.
Well, and I think additional money will be needed. Part of my thought process is just watching how quickly our borrowers go to a PPP site that our institution has, and they have to submit all their information electronically. It filled. I mean, it was incredible. It was like a wheel that was rolling. The number of applications that came in. There'll probably need to be additional funding.
Mm-hmm. It is slightly smaller. Trump said on Monday that he wanted to refill it completely, and it seems like they haven't quite done the complete refill, but it is a good amount of money, and it's an unprecedented amount of money. This will bring it up to what are we at, $600 billion now?
Yeah, that's going to be in the mid sixes, and quite frankly, that could be enough. And the reason I think that every institution is going to have a certain appetite. They're going to have a cap. They're not just going to do as many as applications they receive. So the question becomes, how many PPP loans are enough for your institution?
Mm-hmm. Well, and for this bill will supposedly go to vote on Thursday, so we'll find out a little bit more about it. I looked on online this morning, could not find the text of the bill, so we don't know exactly if anything else is changing, but this is all we know right now.
Yeah, and Katie, I don't know if I know the audience probably can tell. Over weeks since the introduction of the PPP loans, I've tried to be very upbeat and excited. You can tell today, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm really encouraged by the way things are going with the PPP process.
We received some guidance. Actually, this morning it was updated. Lenders can use their SBA note from SBA Form 147 or their own note if the SBA required language is included, and closing documents to close PPP loans.
Pretty limited closing docs. This is just like the SBA Express loan program, where you can use your own note as long as you insert the appropriate SBA language. You can also use the SBA Form 147. I think most banks are probably going to use their own notes with the SBA language inserted. In terms of closing documentation, it's not like a regular SBA loan, Katie. There's no guarantee, no collateral. It's a simpler loan to close. And in our process, we send all those closing documents directly to the customer for e-signature. So,
The SBA is releasing PPP loan authorization on their website, and that will be available really soon. That's about all we got about that.
Well, and I think, one of the challenges is we have not been required to have an authorization. And if you get an E-Tran and you put a PPP loan in, there is a button at the top of E-Tran that will allow you to create an authorization, Katie, but it's a mess. The authorization you create, I think they stuck an old SBA Express authorization in there, and there's so much irrelevant information included in that authorization. So I think, SBA is going to issue a PPP loan authorization. We're going to be way too far down the road, and most lenders are going to be happy with closing it without an authorization at this point.
PPP loans must be funded within 5 days of receiving an approval number on E-Tran, and final disbursement must occur within 2 months of loan approval. I don't think this is a problem based on what you've been saying today, though.
No, and hopefully those institutions that are not doing these electronically will take note of the date. You need to fund the loans within 5 days. This is guidance from SBA. And that was as of today. They want us to fund these as quickly as possible. So it's just like paying the guarantee fee. You got to pay the guarantee fee within within 90 days of an issuance of a loan number from SBA. This is the same thing. They're telling us once we get a loan number, we've got to get money into the small businesses' hands within 5 business days.
Mhm. If a PPP loan needs to be canceled or adjusted or changed in any way, we're using E-Trans servicing to make the changes.
Yeah, so everybody who's comfortable with E-Trans servicing, this is just like if you've got a $100,000 loan and there was a change and it needs to be reduced to 90, you can go in and make those appropriate changes in E-Trans servicing. Just make sure and hit the save button.
And of course, if anybody has any questions, they have a website, they have an email, and they have a phone number here. And you're encouraged to submit your inquiries to those sources.
SBA is trying to provide as much support as possible. I know here in Arkansas, the district office is doing an incredible number of webinars, Skype meetings, Zoom meetings, trying to keep lenders informed with what's going on. So, you know, if you've got questions, submit them that way. You can submit questions to us. You know, it's like I said yesterday, I apologized yesterday and I continue to. Some of you who submitted questions got responses at like 9:30 and 10 o'clock Central Time last night. During the day, guys, I'm either on Coleman Report Live, but the rest of the day for hours working on getting these processed. So we'll answer your questions. It just may be in the evening.
The SBA is requesting classification of participation in Paycheck Protection Program. So if you're a lender or you're only participating in the PPP program, the SBA wants to know that. And of course, they've got an email there, and you're just going to direct your response to Robin Daniels. And it looks like we're finishing up. So there's the $349 billion stimulus lending online training. And Lance, you're doing that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna provide some training on how to utilize the PPP program, and certainly look forward to that. We're doing a deferment webinar here in just a little bit. So it's still not too late to sign up and participate in that deferment webinar. And of course, we're doing our annual hotel motel financing, which that world's changed quite a bit in the last few weeks, guys.
Yeah. And but of course it will pick up again, because it's not going to always be like this.
Well, it's just like the recession back in 08, 09, 10. A lot of businesses did close, excuse me, guys, but a lot of great new businesses came out of that. You know, we will see some businesses close, but the thing that is most encouraging to me, Katie, is the way they spent the money in the recovery program this time. Last time they did not spend it with small businesses. Small businesses suffered and closed. New businesses opened when things got better. This time they're spending money on small businesses. These Paycheck Protection Program loans are going to help these small businesses get through this interim period. And when the world opens back up, they're going to be able to continue and repay their loans and pay their employees and create profit. So hopefully we'll be back to work. I mean, everybody else, I'm sorry, all the lending institutions are working at warp speed right now, but hopefully everybody else will be back to work soon.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we have another slide. Oh, okay. Our spring quarter training is starting, I believe, in a couple days here, or did it just start? April 2nd. I guess it just started. And this is all of our training opportunities.
Guys, the Certified Loan Closer training is a great training program. It's still based on the 50-10-5K, which is what we follow in our SBA lending right now. You know, we thought the 50-10-6 would be out. Who knows when that's going to happen now?
And of course, we have sponsorship opportunities. You can email Joseph. And if you have any questions, you can email Bob, Lance, or Joseph, and we'll try to get back to you. I know Lance is saying he's got a lot to do, and we're getting a lot of questions right now. So we're doing our best. And with that, I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.